tuning into Bed Budgeon?
Yeah, I can do it.
Awesome.
I'm just gonna move inside because they're doing some work on the neighbor's roof.
I am outside also. Is it not noisy to you all? There is
No.
some street noise.
Okay. Fine. For me.
Okay, rubbing the palms together. Taking a few breaths into the heart. Breathing down into Mother Earth. And then inhaling deeply to tune in. God Gare Name, Jugaad Gare Name, Sat Gare Name, Sri Gurudev Name. God Gare Name, Jugaad Gare Name, Sat Gare Name, Sri God Gare Name, Jugaad Gare Name, Sat Gare Name, Sri Gurudev Name.
Let's do heart breath. Sahaj, I see you just joined us. We're tuning in with heart breath, or we just tuned in and we're doing heart breath right now.
Thanks, G. I had connection issues.
Inhaling. Bed Budgeon, would you like to? I think we'd like to chant for 3 or 5 minutes, Guru Ram Das chanting, just to sort of harmonize ourselves and to send our loving vibration out to Siri and to the other people who've been affected by these storms. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on mute so that I don't so because it's easier for me to hear. But I don't know. Can you time yourself and chant for a couple of minutes, that bhajan, and I'll chant along from home, sort of.
Yeah, sure.
And include Sriatma, her daughter, and Guru Mayer, her son-in-law. I haven't heard back from them yet either.
Nor has Siri Gian, I understand.
She hasn't been able to contact them.
Not that I know of. Yeah, they're in Fairview, and
Yeah.
I heard that they might be traveling or something, but people have been texting them and haven't received anything back.
Yeah, she had told me that the cell phone towers are out. Like the
Mhm.
cell phone towers are out and there's no Wi-Fi, and there's also
Awful.
not electricity because
Oh,
the utilities are down.
oh.
So I gather that people are probably rationing their cell phone, like that they
Mm,
turn it on in order to receive a message, or
mm,
when they're at a place where they might, because
right.
otherwise it's kind of a waste, or they can't get through. So
Mm,
that's what I think is happening with that.
mm, mm.
Are we ready to start chanting?
Yes, please.
Okay. Guru, Guru, Vahe Guru, Guru Ram Das Guru, Guru, Guru Vahe Guru, Guru Ram Das Guru, Guru, Guru Vahe Guru, Guru Ram Das Guru, Guru Vahe Guru, Guru Ram Das Guru, 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 Guru Vahe Guru Ram Das Guru, Guru, Guru Vahe Guru, Guru Das Guru, Guru, Guru Vahe Guru, Guru Ram 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 Das Guru,
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 Ahe Guru, Guru
Ram,
Ramdas Guru, Guru
Guru, Vaheguru,
Guru
Guru, Ram,
Das
Das Guru,
Guru
Guru,
Vahe Guru,
Guru, Guru,
Das Guru, Guru Guru Vahe Guru, Guru Das Guru, Guru Guru
Vaheguru,
Vahe
Guru, Ram,
Das Guru, Guru Guru Vahe Guru, Guru
Ram Das
Guru,
Guru,
Guru
Guru, Guru, Ahe Guru, Guru Ram Das Guru,
Guru
Guru
Guru Vahe
Ahe
Guru
Guru, Guru
Das
Guru,
Guru
Guru Vaheguru,
Guru
Guru Ramdas Guru,
Guru Guru
Guru Vaheguru,
Guru
Guru Ramdas Guru,
Guru
Guru Vaheguru, Guru Vahe Guru,
Guru Guru
Guru Vaheguru, Guru Ramdas Guru.
And inhale deeply.
Thank you very much. That was beautiful. I
Yeah.
suggest we go directly into heart breath. The word to meditate on from Baba Siddhi Chand is hurt, Hurt. I'll set a timer. Inhaling. Is there anyone who would like to share their message? Do we want to meditate more? Can you guys hear me? I think
Okay.
not. Okay,
Um,
Satnam.
hmm,
What did
well,
Baba say to you?
he said nearly the same thing, but well, the pollution, and then to at, look around. Um, because myself personally and physically, and then as far as I think the whole this production line of what the lines of the layers of my being and from this creation, like my everyday self wants to take the word hurt and turn it around, but I see faces, um, and how I've reacted in certain ways in my life, and that I may have caused hurt, I may have been hurt, and that there's some sort of truth in there, but there's a heaviness in there too, sometimes, right, in our being, in our breathing, and the stuffiness and the things that we have to handle in the everyday world and our with the air. The air, the air is hurt, and we need to help the air here because I think that we're all breathing the same air as far as the simplistic view of my being and the completion of that circle, when we um sleep, when we become relaxed enough to let ourselves to notice that entirety of ourselves, and we can sort of feel that hurt. We have hurt in our body, we have discomfort, or if you want to lessen the way of explaining it, we have this vessel, right, that we're in, and it's a container somehow, of what one way or another, that we're allowed to be here and try to explain this way of hurt. But I think us noticing that hurt to others and the way that the nature has a way of doing that on its own, that language, that vibration sort of it wants you to turn away from it, like or what is a black hole or something, is what I look at it like a garbage disposal. Maybe it's just because I was a plumber and in my learning, right, this is what our brains do, yeah, but yet the water and the dirt, when I talk to the water, I can make that change. So I think the most important thing now is for us to give our hearts to our loved ones, and in our physicality, if we have that use of that in helping that other person and being able to reach them in a situation, then we should be able to, we can try our best to be ready for that when that instance happens, because I think that we're being tested in so many ways. And the first way to look at it is our air, that, and I can see the plants now trying, giving off that water, giving back that energy which came from it. It seems like dust sometimes, but when I look at it closer, I realize it's the photosynthesis happening, because it will only happen in a certain time of day, which makes sense in the simplicity of how the water will evaporate in the clouds. They have a way of bringing and returning and all that. Yeah. And that hurt can be brought back to Hawaii Guru, because we know where we're going, right? And that home and that heart of our home. So that opening, it's a personal experience, I think. But sometimes when we look at the devastation, we can see it plain as sight. We can see, in our devastation now, and within the creation of the earth, and I can see myself falling asleep again, in this just old growth forest where the moss and the greenery are just perfect enough to lay down where I'm comfortable. And just sometimes letting go is what we have to do, but I'm still doing that within the same actual body that I'm in, right? It's opening up to more possibilities of how this unfolding will go and our ability to walk along with it. Yeah. And it's beautiful to have the meditation today because coming along and going along with it, you can feel the undulations and the power of staying within that. And it brought me back to one time in my camper, the first time I did tantric, I said, I know I can do this, being like tested myself physically somewhat before in particular fashions, with sports and whatnot. And yeah, coming back to that moment of, getting past like hours of doing it, and finding myself in those situations of where I just had to stop, and listen to that rhythm for like a couple of times through, to get that rhythm again. And boy, it's just amazing when you come together like that. And Waheguru, thank you so much that within that circle of our hurt, that there is a truth that we all share that ability to come out of that and, work with each other in a way that's, always going to bring us back to that original self about having to be relied upon what's inside of us and what we're allowing ourselves to strengthen with, right? To bring this motherly presence back into the full acceptance, because those political views and whatnot, it is my opinion, I will state that before, but there is a certain resistance that's happening that we need to realize and just look past it and just realize that it's still part of the shift that's going on and we're not going to be blocked. And, let's try to do our best in being who we are and loving from, where we are. And yeah, coming together with that love is really important. And I think that we can see a lot of work being done, a lot of people coming together on their own, like within that community, who are out helping each other, who are looking for those missing people. Let's bring those numbers down. Let's find those people, let's get them known, who they are and what they're doing out there, because we're doing so much for each other right now, I think, with all of this. And it's going to come to our local community, right? Because it's happening in other parts of the world. It's just the heart of the earth. It's the way that the energy moves. And I think if we come closer to that, that's still my opinion. But hey, let's figure out how fast we are catching up to science within that letting go of being that free flowing organism. Yeah, why go to again with that, and just releasing all of my opinions and letting go, and then coming back to the truth that my heart is understanding that it's asking me a million trillion times until I die. They give me the answer, right? Or it's the answer's there the whole time. It's just waiting for me to come along with it. So, and that's my opinion too. So I'll try to do with that where I am. Test my courage in other ways in order to be ready for the happiness of the truth that allows that the full laughter of the crying and and the releasing of the mucus daily through the breathing through the nose and trying to say less through the nose. Thank you very much. Waheguru.
Thank you. Thank you. Stat City, you're just joining us.
Sorry
So
about that.
would you, that's okay. I'm really happy you're here. I missed you. So it's time. So please tune in on your own if you haven't already done so, and take a minute to meditate on our concept from Baba Siddhi Chand today, which is hurt, Hurt, and we did tune in with some Guru Ram Das chanting for Siri Gyan, and so I think we'll do some heart breath for her at the end of our togetherness. Is there anybody else who wants to share their message from Baba today?
Satnam, I will share. Excuse me. Oh, maybe it's not my turn. Maybe I need to wait.
No, you can go. I would love you to go.
No, I mean I'm choking.
Oh,
Just give me a sec. Maybe if someone else can go, maybe.
I can Does anybody else want to do it? I could
I
fake
can
it.
pick it who you want.
Yay!
Can you hear
Do
me?
it. Do it, girl.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've been talking. I realized I was on mute. Sorry. Okay, today I got hurt, open to divine providence. All that we are seeking lies within. It is time to embrace our power and own the power of love. Embrace it. It will get us through. That's all I got.
Say it again.
Okay, but you could hear me. I had real trouble with the connection there. Okay. Open for hurt, open to divine providence. All that we are seeking lies within. It is time to embrace our power and and own the power of love. Embrace it. It will get us through. It's in owning it, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do the action, implement it into physical plane. It's the way I hear that. Like, do it.
What does that mean for you?
That it is in the action. In the action, back again. So I see it as in the physical plane. It's not just a thought. It's the action of seeking what lies within, knowing that we are given power. But we have to go embrace it. We have to own it. And that power is love, which is so much bigger than just the word is so simple, but it is a really big thing. And right now we are practicing it for all the people that need help in this horrible situation. That power doesn't sit still. It's everywhere. We can send it. Heart to heart. That's how it travels. So every day, until they're healed and helped, we have to do this and hold them in the power of love. And we have that, and we are able to send it. It's a gift. I think this is a realization that we're going to see how powerful it is. We're going to know that we can help these people miles and miles away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that beaming, that energy outward from us that always gets me.
Yeah. It's and then see or understanding that it really does do that. Well, that's just powerful. And what a gift. So time to practice.
Yeah, you know what I keep on thinking of is when I was in Florida in 2018 and it was September and it was hurricane season and I drove right into the hurricane and Siri said to me that she would do heart breath for me and my town got absolutely clobbered and I was in this adorable little Victorian carriage house situation in a historic district and she said she would do heart breath for me and my cute little house did not lose power because the way that the power gets lost in these areas is in the sequence that it was connected. But anyway, or I believe it was because of Siri Guillen's heart breath. It was so magical. Anyway, I've thought of that as we're doing heart breath for her that she paid it forward so many years ago to me.
Right. And I just think we've had the power. In other times, in other lifetimes, or let's say in other times of our world, people have learned this. Like I would imagine Holocaust victims and people that have been through tremendous things were pushed to an edge. Maybe that's when we learn how we can send and how we can help or what our power is. Wow. So I'm not going to just hope for it. I'm going to be practicing it so these people can get water, food, real practical things, real practical examples of help.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for your message.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So what?
I think I know why I choked because you were supposed to go before me. just, just like the good old days where Joe and Davy and I would just lock on. That had to come. What I saw was this a woman with her arms wrapped around each other, kneeling and just sort of leaning forward, almost like keening from the pain of the hurt.
Mm.
And I was hearing while you were speaking, like, let me put this together a little bit. Like I heard, okay, core wound, and that every single one of us on this planet has a wounding that we want to heal, and we all go about it in different ways. Some of us try to bury it with things or power over or whatever there is in the human experience to distract. And that, yes, of course, we are praying for these people today in their desperately difficult situations. And it is true that, like, this woman, I keep seeing this woman, it makes me so, it's just like keening, the word keening keeps coming to mind, like that when you are in such a state of grief as the result of the wound, whatever it is, that you're simply, it's simply coming, it's vocalized, that, like, it's a heart cry, and that all pain like that, all hurt comes from separation. And for us humans, for many of us, it's separation from other humans that causes hurt, whether it's in a family or whatever social configuration, but it's also our perceived separation from our divine self, or from the divine, from God, whatever we call that, that's really the source of all of it. And we keep thinking that we're separate. We keep thinking even that we're separate from these folks in North Carolina and in all the places that are being hit by these devastating. I mean, I am sitting in a house right now that just a month ago was completely surrounded in water from a glacial outburst flood. It's all of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of us. And I just keep getting these pictures, so I don't know. I'm sure my speech is a little halting here, but maybe somebody else has the next piece of, like, the connectedness, but certainly heart breath, because I guess, okay, so yes, we want to help other people, and yes, we are here to do that. The person we really must tend to first, to be the most effective, is to our own wounded selves. Not first, that's not the right language, but I think we kind of understand that that the more compassion we have for ourselves, yes, this is a better way to say it, the more compassion we are able to have for our own selves and our own wounding, the better able we will be to have compassion for people who may not incite our compassion by their behavior. Certain, perhaps, presidential candidates, for instance, might not excite our compassion. But if we remember at the heart of it, I mean, the very first thing I heard was hurt people. And I wanted to say, I felt very angry in response to that. Like, yeah, duh. Like, so what? Like, what does that mean? But like, now I think I'm unraveling. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that you accept terrible behavior from someone who is hurt. It just means that remember to have that understanding and that it will never go awry to do heart breath when you come against a situation where you fail to have compassion or again, fail, bad word, or less precise word, where you don't automatically feel compassion for a person or a situation. You can still do heart breath and like stay in neutral in your own mind about it and just say, okay, like for me, I always like with respect to my family of origin, I'll be like, okay, I'm doing heart breath. God, you take care of them because I can't do it. I don't want to deal with the people. How about you do the healing? I can feel I'm getting a bit rambly, but I'm pretty sure I've said all the component pieces that I can wring out of this, and somebody else will have the next piece. So,
I actually would like to comment a little bit there, Sahaj.
Okay.
Talking about compassion, I wonder if that translates real practically into worthiness. If you have that and hold that worthiness, then you can have compassion. And that's about saving. You didn't mean like save yourself first and too bad for you. Get yourself in worthiness. Get yourself some compassion. Then you can share it.
That's the word I couldn't come up with because I keep seeing this woman like bending over, keening, but yes, that's the essential. It's one thing to feel the hurt and the pain, but to simultaneously feel unworthy of being relieved of that pain or unworthy of the compassion of others. That's how we block that ourselves from receiving the healing balm, whatever form it's coming in. Thank you, G. Wow. Just like the old days.
You guys are awesome.
I could go next if nobody else wants to.
Go for it, Gio.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I see that City has her hand raised. Do you want to,
I'll go next.
Okay. No, Aggie Apollo's, or do you want to?
Okay. She said she would go after me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like your hand. That's cool. Okay, I'll make this short, but
no hurry.
What I heard from Baba Siri Chand was something I've not heard before. Maybe I have. He said, "Love hurts, my dear." And the more you love, the more you must agree to carry the hurt, because love hurts. I'm not totally understanding all of it, but so, and then immediately thought of folks that I know in Asheville, and folks in Arden Woods that I've made, of course, Siri connections with, and there's a sense of love for them, and I hurt. I feel the suffering. I feel but I wouldn't have it, let me put it this way, any other way, because I love them. And so the hurt is something I agreed to because I love them. And the more I sort of charge my batteries for love and increase my ability to love, the more I will increase my ability to endure the suffering of the hurt that goes with it. So Baba Siri Chan just looked at me and kind of said that, this is not all rosy and glowy here. This is this is your growth and toward the light, and loving again Mother Earth and the fossil fuel folks and all of this. I love Mother Earth, and it hurts to see her being destabilized, I guess you could say, with all the rain and stuff. So it's more or less a fact of say a fact of life, but a fact of love, that yeah, love hurts. Love is also very, if you read in the New Testament, love is kind, love is, and all the other things that love is, of course. And but to add this other dimension into love, the the empathic, like I feel the hurt of folks. I feel, and I've just been kind of knocked out. I got a cold, and because even though I've done some protection meditations, not strong enough. I've been reading. Thomas. Matthew Fox. He's a Episcopal priest and one of my favorite people, and he's just, his brand new book out is and this is again my opinion, Trump and the MAGA movement as Antichrist. And so he asks you in this book to look at your shadow side, and to look at there's a lot to it in this book. It's unbelievable. And he mentions that in these days of, I think he mentions this Armageddon kind of thing, the Antichrist is in a lot of much of what's going on, including climate change, including et cetera, et cetera. And so what Baba Siri Chan ended up doing was to say, so I said, okay, so what can I, what is there something I can do now? So I get it. I hear what you're saying. And the message was, stay tuned, stay in love, don't run away from love, stay in love with yourself, everyone, those around you, and somehow this excuse me, the strength to endure will be given to you. And yeah, so I think that's was really a heavy duty message that I've never really received from Baba Siri Chand as yet. So I think I will end on that note. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Paul.
You're on, Sut City.
Oh, okay. Satnam, everybody. I'm so happy I got
Satnam.
to And soul speaks to me in lots of different ways. And I have been going through a process that was provoked by another process, something that was really deeply submerged in my subconscious and had as part of my women's recovery group, we were doing a big book deep study, and we were working on a sex inventory, kind of looking at places where other people hurt us, and or where we hurt other people, betrayal, all that good soap opera stuff. But I had deeply suppressed how my family was actually pretty profoundly scarred by the whole sex scandal with clergy and etc. in the church. So my family was unique in that my younger brother, Joey, got into the clutches of a really seriously pedophile nun. And she really liked little boys. Of course, the story is, her mother was in a wheelchair and she had been molested by her brothers. But just to get background real quick, she had 4 little boys, and this is before all the laws, we're going back a long time. She had been moved multiple times. She had 4 other little young boys, victims, and she got into, her mom was in a mental hospital, so it was a real search for mother figure among children. And it grew into a adult romance in high school, or adolescent romance or whatever. But the main point was he was being sexually abused by, he said to me once, I don't want to offend anybody, been grappling this for a while, but he said, Claire, you want to talk about sexual performance anxiety? Try getting a blowjob from a nun in the sacristy while holding a chalice of, so it was just horrific. But he acted out at home. And because our mom wasn't around, our dad was really working a lot, I walked in on him. He would bully my younger sisters, and he would sexually abuse them. So that whole thing, and instead of dealing with it, when my father was ready, and for some of you this is a repeat, when my father, wanted to nip this in the bud, they tried many things. He went to the diocese and said, all I ask is, he's got this great basketball scholarship, do not let her follow him to North Carolina. What do? Make her head of theology or in the street across from his wonderful little Quaker college. But anyway, so this went on, and recently one of my sisters asked me, she said, I'm in doing, so we're going to see here series of wounds. And my sister Therese, fondly known as Razor Blade, because of her abuse and experience with this, is pretty mean and does some really crazy stuff to hurt other people. But she asked me, was I sexually abused by Joey? And I looked at her, I thought, oh gosh, I can't believe you're going to ask me this, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And I said, yes. And she said, how did you know? I said, because I walked in on you 2 and you were in mom and dad's bed. And I didn't want to go into any more detail. It was pretty horrifying. I was in shock. I never spoke about it until she asked me. But unfortunately, then she's got a lot of money and has many wonderful diversions to keep her from sticking with stuff. And she just put it out there in the family, which is like a gossip network, saying I was a liar and I'm just making this up and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, you see the series of wounds, and the message I got, I'm packing up some stuff and putting some stuff in storage and preparing for a future move. And this wonderful painting that I have, it's got a quote from Rumi, which most of you are probably familiar with. And it basically says, the wound is where the light gets in. So I was had never really felt the experience until recently, and it actually knocked me out of the box so much I couldn't function very well. Was spending a lot of time sleeping. Was I'm getting, doing EMDR on it, which is super powerful and good, but EMDR's done with a really good professional is incredibly powerful. It just has blown me out of the water. And it's all going to work out. But I really love this Rumi quote. Comes such a soulful, I know the poem where it's from, and I think that's what I really cling to. One, the wound is where the light gets in. And for me, the light, and it's a big part of my recovery program, is I had this deep resentment. I had totally suppressed it. I didn't want to deal with it. It's become an issue that I had to deal with just to stay functional. And all this abundant, beautiful help is around. Stunning, great help from a wonderful organization, from practices. My yoga practice really helps me. For me, it's Satanama, which just cleanses the psyche. And I've done it for many years, for about an hour a day. So there's lots and lots of tools, and the light for me is the gift of forgiveness, because some things seem unforgivable and so devastating and destructive across multiple lives. The war in Gaza. You want to talk about a resentment? This cycle between Arabs and Jews is just an ancient scar, an ancient injury and wound on both sides. I'm not pushing any political agenda here, but the gift of forgiveness is that light that comes in through the wound. And when I hit the wall on my own capacity of forgiveness through the Ram Dass chant, I just had to play it nonstop because it's really given me the grace and the strength and the power to dig out of it and heal myself, because I had no idea. And it was the love. The next meeting I went to, I had to bring a gorgeous chocolate, luscious mocha cake to the meeting and have big, generous slices for everybody, saying, this is just a taste of the sweetness of forgiveness that you, in your support of me, in feeling safe enough to put this on my sex inventory, and to move into forgiveness and kind of the dissolution of a really nugget hard resentment that I didn't even know I was carrying, and was really blocking my sunlight of the soul. So I pass.
Wow.
Gee, I just, you just, I thank you so much for bringing this out in this space, airing it out, because that's exactly what happened in the parish that I grew up in. It affected my family. It affected the whole neighborhood. Bunches of kids from my class, and it was even more heinous. It's like literally a network in my elementary school, and like a priest that got, besides that network, there was a pedophile priest, and all of it came out before even the big revelation. But everybody, even though it became public knowledge, nobody could speak about it. And I've been just preparing to go back for a reunion back there, and I'm feeling so much resistance. And a lot of the people there that I'm going to see are alcoholic, and I was having all this resentment because it's like neighborhood reunion and you pay $75 and it's all alcohol, and I'm not going to drink any alcohol, and I don't, I'm going through this whole scenario in my head about I don't feel morally right about providing alcohol to people, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, like with what you're saying, it's showing me, oh my God, if that's their solution for their hurt, who the heck am I to make a judgment? And it's just showing me how you're bringing this to light takes away. Oh my God, two eagles just flew past right in my line of vision. Wow. Anyways, I don't mean to make this, I just want to say you have just added a dimension to my understanding of this and why I'm going back there.
Wonderful.
And underscoring that particular thing, especially when you assault children and you skew their worldview, the tool is separation. The perpetrator is separating that child from themselves even, and making them keep a secret, and that's the ultimate separation. And their power, the person's power to do that, goes away when people speak about it. And just this last year, I was able to speak to a childhood friend who lives elsewhere about the old neighborhood and kind of this notion. I was like, God, but nobody speaks about it. And she said, yeah, that happened in my family too. And it's just a miracle to me, because there's that child part of me that still feels like I have to be mute, almost like as a protection to the other people, but that's not protection. That's just keeping up the separation. Thank you so much, G.
Thank you, Chief.
I guess I'm ready to go. About hurt. So I'm at a conservation land right now, which is really beautiful. And I kind of forced myself to go to my yoga class this morning and to do my meditation at 11 o'clock. Um, because last week, I remembered saying in our group last week that my message from Baba, or part of the message from Baba, was about doing ritual and maintaining sadhana, as a comfort through dark and troubling times. And like I just woke up feeling like this morning, so I didn't want to do it, but I, reminded myself. And so I went to my yoga class this morning, and and about hurt, a couple of things. One of them was, like in my asana practice, that discomfort is good, but because that means that we're kind of out of our comfort zone, but pain is our signal to back off. So in my asana class this morning, the teacher, we're studying the yamas and the niyamas, and the fourth yama is brahmacharya, which is right use of energy. But this, I promise, it comes back to my message from Baba Siddhi Chand, but brahmacharya has like a bunch of different meanings in Sanskrit. So there are four phases of life, in the Vedic conception, I guess you would call it. So brahmacharya is the first phase of life. It's the student phase, and it's like how we learn how to do right use of energy. And it's also part of my message last week. It's a time for tapas, or self-discipline. It's when we learn how to discipline ourselves um, to grow up and to maintain the habits that we will want to maintain through the rest of our life. That's like the learning phase. But brahmacharya on the mat really can mean pulling back from your practice or withdrawing a little bit from it, not in an abandonment way, but in a, instead of going 90%, I'm going to go 75%. I'm going to go 55%. And so that was part of my message, in my practice this morning was to sort of pull back, and that signal of being in pain, that like in my on my mat practice, discomfort is good, but pain is when we pull back. So I feel the synchronicity of that brahmacharya of, okay, this is a painful situation. Let's use our energy really wisely in a really focused and directed way. So, um, so at the conservation area, I found a path that I had never found before off to the side of this lake, and I cut through this hole in the in like the woods basically. And then all of a sudden I was in this canopied area with I don't know exactly what kind of trees they are, but the roots are really close to the ground. So I was walking on this just snaggle of roots for a really long way. And I was thinking about like also in our my mat practice, root to rise, which means like really get down with the soles of your feet, get down with your soul, and feel really rooted and really stable in your posture before you do any sort of upward lifting or upward trajectory. And then the thing that became really apparent. So then the second phase of life is Grihastha, which is the householder. But then after that is the Vani Prastha, which is the forest dweller. So I did my last meditation from the middle of the forest, and I was like, wow, this, I feel like a forest dweller. So forest dweller phase is usually between like 50 and 75 years old. And that phase is when the former householder starts to let go of their earthly possessions, and it symbolically it's starting to let go of this earthly life. So it's a phase for simplifying, meditating, spending a lot of time on inner focus, solitude, and practicing yoga and asceticism. um, and so I was really kind of digging on that in the forest today, and feeling um, the harmony um, between being a forest dweller and also like that message of brahmacharya of withdrawing my energy a little bit and coming back into right use of energy. Um, and so as and then like, how do I say it? I guess that with doing this measured energy, my feeling is that there are a lot of people out there who are hurting. It's not just me or you or him or you know like we're all this one human animal. A huge fish jumped out of the lake in front of me, like it caught some air. um anyway, um the so everybody is hurting, and my feeling is that like Sahaj, you said hurt people, and that's the cycle of karma. And what my message for me it has been about is about doing with a bit more withdrawing and doing less peopling, less energy interaction, so that I can be more self-contained and more focusing on myself and my inner process. Because I think for me anyway, right now, it might be too tempting to get into cycles of karma or to react, because everybody else is going to be reactive too, because this is a super sensitive and tender time. And also, this is related to, well, so the second yoga sutra that I love so much is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, which is yoga stills the undulations of the mind. So reaction is vritti. Reaction is that undulation and that those huge waves. And so for me, I want to spend I'm leaving. I'm leaving Massachusetts. I've been in Massachusetts for like 2 days, and I just spent the last more than a week in Maine before. And I basically just came back to Mass and I did my laundry and I sent out the books that I sold. And to be honest, there's people coming into town where I live in Massachusetts, and I want to not have the interactions because I don't need that kind of noise or that kind of riti or those kind of undulations in my sphere. And like, I don't need to feel guilty about it. It's not like I'm antisocial. It's not like I'm dropping the ball or anything like that. It's not even healthy boundaries. It's just like me taking care of myself, doing my own thing in order to not get get involved with that cycle of karma of hurt people, because I'm a hurt person too, and I don't need to go and inflict that on somebody else. Um, so, and then back to the 20th Poti of Japji, if your mind becomes clouded with error and pain, wash your mind clean with the love of the name. That just like popped into my head, and I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna, have uh I don't want to say a low energy week and like I want to have it really self-contained. I'm going to make some soup. I'm going to do a lot of yoga. I'm going to do research. Maybe I'll edit some videos. Anyway, oh, wait a minute. There was one more thing. So when I was in the forest, I was walking and walking to get to until my plan was to walk until like 11 o'clock when my first meditation started. And it was kind of cold and there was no place to sit because it's just trails. It's not like a park. Um, so I was wondering where I was going to sit. And right as it was getting time for me to sign on, this huge tree had fallen across the path. I mean, like a long time ago, but this huge tree was laying across the path and it made a perfect bench for me. And when I heard hurt, I really saw that poor tree with its snapped trunk because it was a huge, huge tree with all these splintery shards sticking out everywhere. But the hurt is what we regrow. That fallen tree was an ideal bench for me to go and be a forest dweller on. That bench was like exactly the balm that I needed. And from that hurt of that tree, like both of us got a chance to meditate together and regrow. And it's not that we get hurt, it's what we do with it and how we it's a growth opportunity. It's where are we going to go with this? So that was my message.
Thank you.
Thanks. Who
Thanks,
wants to go next? Oh, you're welcome.
I think we're a little bit out of time slightly.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, we're late. Does anybody need to sign off or do their share right now? I think we have Huddy Munder and Bed Butchin if you want to speak, or if people have to go, please go on.
Huddy Munder.
Um, I don't have a lot to contribute. I've been absorbing all this. And one of the things that took my attention was that's relating to me at this point is using energy really wisely. Because I'm at that stage of what to let go of, who not who to let go of, but possessions, distractions. But I'm working, I had the words, but I lost them. What serves me now, and that's where I am in figuring out. It's a big change in life, and how quickly we could lose everything, just as Gaza, as Asheville, as everywhere. So redefining what's important. That's all.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you very much.
Ved Budgeon, do you want to share? Or are you an angel today? A singing angel?
Yeah, I can share a little bit.
Thanks.
Mine was pretty simple. From Baba, he was saying to breathe alongside, with, and around the hurt, and that the hurt has a voice and wants to be not only heard but felt and held in love, and that love is the breath surrounding it and going inside of it. And then he was saying to, like, put my hands on the places in my body, whether it's physical hurt or emotional, and then doing heart breath and feeling the breath that is love to expand into that area in my own hands. And through that experience of just being and breathing with the hurt instead of trying to get rid of it or separate from it or do something else, to be with it until it feels like it's been held enough, like it has had a chance to cry, to express, to speak. And when I do that with myself, then I have the space and the capacity to actually be with someone else in their experience, and just breathe alongside of them, and take all of that, like absorb it in kind of with them, like help them be in that with them. But if I have these places in me I haven't sent breath to or been with, then I don't actually even have space to take that in with them, to hold that. So it was just really helpful to, like, be with that experience. And then the things that people were sharing were really moving, and hit home for me. I've had similar experiences in my life with sexual abuse and abuse with my Kundalini teacher. And so it's just like another opportunity to, like, not only be with my own hurt and pain through the breath, but also a reminder that we're not isolated. And through this experience of breathing together in this container, like, we help each other heal, and it continues to radiate outward in infinite directions that we don't even know. And so I'm just feeling very grateful for this and for everyone's shares.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ved Budgeon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same. It's like a puzzle. We all put the pieces together.
Yeah.
And so often I'll come on, I feel raggedy. It's a little early in the morning here for me. And I'm like, oh God, I'm just not going to get it today. My mind's going to get in the way. And that's never true. We all pull it together. And I love you all.
I can so see that back the way the hands come together, and when we go back to back, we are so powerful. And I can just see that vision of the two of them coming together and going back to back. We have each other's back, and it supports. We're here for support, and Waheguru to that, right? Stay with that vibration, because our staying in that vibration is really where we are right now. For that allowance, for that acceptance, Waheguru. Thank you so much. It's just bringing in that truth of our experience and sharing that is so powerful. Waheguru.
Let's do our heart breath. I know we're many minutes over, so anybody who has to get off, please don't stay under the pretenses. But let's do heart breath, and let's share that love with each other and send it out for Siri Gyan and for is it Siriatma and all of the other people that are being affected by the storms and the other world situations. And I'll set a timer for us, okay?
Yes.
Yes.
D'accord.
Inhaling. Bachan, would you lead us in our song?
Sure. May the
long
Sun,
sun
sunshine
shine upon you. All
all
alone
the
around you.
and
And the pure light
within
within you.
you.
guide
Guide your way.
guide
Guide your way, God.
guide
Guide your way God.
Thank you, everyone. God bless.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you.
everyone. Love you all.
Thank
Love
you.
Love,
you all.
love, love, love. Mwah. Bye, everyone.
everyone.
Bye.